Welcome to Kosme Webinar about solutions for cleaning, personal care and home hygiene. Our portfolio of tailor-made solutions to satisfy all your needs. Let me introduce me briefly. I'm Anna Pronesti. I work in Kosme in the marketing department, and today I'm in charge of the moderation. We would like to point out once again that this webinar is being recorded and that the presentation slide will be shared with the attendees after the webinar. The microphones are muted by default, but you are welcome to type your questions in the question box and submit them during the webinar. We will try to answer all the questions at the end of the webinar. The webinar will be held from Mr. David Bock, our Business Development Manager for HPC. Welcome, David.
Hi, thanks a lot, Anna. Thanks everyone for tuning in, for dialing in. We'll immediately start with the presentation, which will take more or less around 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. After the presentation, there is some room for questions and answers, as you can see here, and to have an open discussion where needed. As Anna already mentioned, everything will be provided afterwards and everything is recorded. So, solutions for cleansing, body care and household hygiene, the house care, personal care, as we speak of. We from Kosme, under the Kroon's wings, are the specialists for low, medium speed lines when we speak about house care, personal care, business markets. From the production of fillers and labelers, over palletizers, depalletizers, blow molders, packaging machines, and so on. Everything happens and is built in Germany, Austria, and the northern side of Italy. As you can see here, with the HQ for Kosme in Roverbella, Italy, which is 21 kilometers away from the Verona airport, where the main activities of labeling, filling, and packaging happen, and then with our other facility in Sollenau, not so far away from Austria, from Vienna, Austria, where everything in terms of blow molding happens. The mother company Krones on their side in Regensburg is covering all the same technologies, let's say, but then based in Germany, starting from a higher speed, starting from 20,000 bottles an hour. When we speak about Kosme in the medium-low speed range, again, we're speaking about speed ranges starting from 2,500 bottles an hour up until 20,000 bottles an hour, more or less. We're speaking about single machines or complete lines. Those single machines or complete lines are designed with an eye on flexibility, with an eye on different kinds of shapes of bottles, products, and with a high quality output. No matter the shape, the cap, the label, or the product inside, as you can see in the screen with all the different examples. To give you another example in terms of the domains or the partners we work with across the globe, as you can see, for over more than 40 years of experience, our solutions can be found amongst the startups, but also the top layers, medium-sized companies, or the big companies. And then it's divided between the blowers, fillers, labelers, complete block solutions, or complete lines. Everything really depends on what the customer needs and what the DNA of the company is we're working with. Again, as you can see in the last phrase, the technical service available on a worldwide scale through the Kroon's network, as Kosme is part of the Kroon's family, so to say. We're going into a video first to quickly show you what we are capable of doing and what we're speaking about. So as you can see right now, we're speaking about a filler, which is filling quite a common bottle, a deo bottle with a roll-on stick. So it's a quite common thing, but it's not so an easy thing to apply. We're seeing the dispenser pump capping, which is a quite common thing in the house care, personal care world, but not that easy to apply as well. Regular push-on caps, twist-off caps. all different size of caps. Same goes for labeling. We're seeing an easy top-on labeling as well as a front and back self-adhesive label application. Whereas orientation of gripping the bottle into the correct position before labeling and after labeling. Whereas tandem labeling, quality control during the labeling, complete block solutions, and just showing off how fast those things go and how they look like from a top view, which is always quite interesting to see. If we go deep into the machine portfolio, starting with the blow molders, you can take as baseline that each cavity of every machine is capable of running up to 2,500 bottles per cavity. And then we're having both solutions for the linear, for the big bottles, let's say up to 30 liters, or the really small bottles up to 0.05 liters. Everything depends on the size of the bottle and the output speed you want to achieve. Whether you want to go for low speed, bigger bottles, then it's most appropriate to go for inline blow molding, linear machines. Where you want to go for the high speeds with volumes up to 4 liters or 11 liters, then it makes sense to go for the rotary machines. Rotary machines can be in compact executions, can be a bit preferential heating. So everything in terms of novelties are possible to implement them. As I just mentioned, the preferential heating, which is quite an important thing, especially when we speak about the house care, personal care market, other than the beverage market when we're speaking about cylindrical bottles. With the house care, personal care market, as you can see in the images, the bottles are quite typically shaped, which requests a specific type of heating, a specific type of handling the preform before blowing it. With our preferential heating installed in our blow molding machines, we have the possibility to blow and to achieve the quality output which is requested from the customer. Whereas you can say that the sky is almost the limit. Here another video to explain some things. Whereas you can see the preforms going into the oven, where they're heated on different sections. When you see the lines there, here we go. Where we can decide whether we heat it more or we heat it less on a certain area of the preform before they're going out into the mold to be blown. When the preforms are blown, by the way, due to the air recovery, we're reducing the consumption of air. So in order, when there's a non-stop production of blowing bottles, we're always recovering the air that escapes while a preform is blown for blowing the next preform, which is a big advantage in terms of the consumption data. When we go from the blow molding into the filling, when we speak about house care, personal care, we're most often speaking about the wave fill or the volume fill. Wave fill on its hand is the most ideal or most covering solution in terms of filling, as you can fill both very viscous products or very foamy products due to the pressure you can put on the tank before going in. Which is really important, and a big advantage on this weight fill is the fact that you have the combination of both products you can handle. That's one thing. And on the other hand, that you have a high precision, a really high precision in terms of filling your product, which means no spilling of product left or right, and that you have an exact output of what's going in and what's going out in the final bottle. Also, there's the possibility to have two-stage filling with fine and mass flow, which gives you a perfect control. After every cycle, by the way, every load cell is indicating the exact output on the screen, so you have a perfect control. As you could say that Big Brother is watching the complete machine and every bottle that's coming in and going out. As I mentioned you, the filling accuracy, you can say easily that on 1 kilo of product, so 1,000 grams, there's a standard deviation of 1 gram, which gives it a pretty impressive numbers to work around. And keep in mind, this is a theory. When we're doing our filling tests in our lab in Italy, we're even achieving better results. This just for your information. Another big advantage that we came up with a couple of years ago, based on our experience on the market, is the flow cleaning inside the valve, as you can see, inside the tank, sorry, as you can see here. Often you have a lot of issues with cleaning the products, as they're always on an oily base and they're very viscous in the tank. With those spray balls, you can have a 360 degrees covering of the machine cleaning, which reduces it to a pretty simple job and a perfectly 100% control job, which is a really big advantage, especially when you're changing formats or products on a regular base. The other filling technology I spoke about was a volume filling. The volume filling is limited up until 30,000 bottles an hour, which is quite high for the house care personal care market we're speaking about. This is just to give you an indication of the combination of valves on a carousel diameter we can. The most important thing about this volume fill is that we're working without a tank. So it's a tankless solution, which makes it very easy to clean. Small disadvantage of this volume fill is that it's more difficult to work with viscous products, although we have the mass flow meters to push the low conductivity products outside. It's not the preferred solution when there's a wide range of products you want to fill. Filling precision as well, as we can see in the next slide, we will see that there's a pretty high filling precision as well. Another important topic here, another important strong point, is that there's no air return nor there's a contact filling. So there are no filling pipes inside the bottle or whatsoever. And of course that it's CIP when we're talking about cleaning, again, tankless solution, and we're having a closed CIP channel with automatic sip cups, which makes it pretty easy and pretty attractive to do a CIP when doing a format changeover for a complete line, as you don't need to have your operator standing next to it. Here we see the filling graph, the accuracy, where you will see a slightly higher number than with the weight fill. So again, to resume it, to summarize it, the weight fill is the most perfect machine, both in terms of accuracy and when we're speaking about a wide range of products from high viscosity to high foamy. The volume fill, on the other hand, is a more simple machine, more basic machine, which is specially concentrated on the more foamy products and viscosity up until a certain level. So it's all again a matter, as I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, it's all again a matter of DNA and the exact products that the customer wants to produce and wants to bring on the market. This is a machine we saw in the beginning. We slide it in because, again, this looks like a pretty easy and a pretty common bottle on the market, although it's not so easy to have those bottles filled and kept, especially kept. I'm going to put the high focus on the, as you can see here, by the way, the filling, there's no filling nozzle or filling valve going into the bottle. And then during the capping, which is a Kosme capper, so all our cappers are built in-house as well, where the balls are pushed inside the DO stick, DO bottle. All ranges are here possible, all different diameters are here possible, so now we have the pre-sorter. So it's quite an, looks quite simple, but it's quite an impressive thing. Another important thing when we speak about house care products, more likely house care, is that are machines with, that need to be capable of working with corrosive products. Depending on the solution, depending on the product that the customer wants to fill, we have the possibility to design our machines with the right covering, with the right parts. And with the appropriate standards, as to say, of a company we need to work in, going from titanium to PVC, PP, or Haller, everything is possible. There's a lot of examples and references across the globe. It's just a matter of correctly understanding the scope of the customer and the design of our machines. So that's really an important one as well. I'm not going to show the video. Sorry, I'm going to show the video of this one because it's a high corrosive product inside. As you can see on the handling, the way the material is made of the valves, and the way all the bottles are tilted under a certain angle to have them kept and both filled. So that's quite an impressive thing as well. But again, the biggest focus here is on how all the parts which can come in contact with the product are treated anti-corrosive, and then the bottles are tilted again to the correct position before going out. Here you can see a close-up picture of that. Then another one, when we're speaking about dangerous products or aggressive products, we're speaking about explosive situations as well, so to say, as the ATEX, as most people will know. Sometimes we're coming into the situation where we need to fill products which are highly explosive, where there's a risk of explosion, let's say, whereas we're designing our machines to respect the ATEX rules in the country where it needs to go to, based on evaporating the air or the vapors which are coming out through the way our connection points are built up, where electronic noise detectors are installed underneath the machines, how the complete machine is based in a pressured zone, how the machine is covered. The machine still looks the same, as you can see with the rinser, capper, filler here, but everything is really ATEX. So quite an important aspect as well in the domain of the house care products. Then we're going to the cappers as well. We saw before, like in the video, we saw the way of capping the roll-on caps. We saw a little sneak peek of this trigger capper. This one is a Kosme capper as well, which we designed a couple of years ago, which is covering, as you can see, trigger cappers, the pump cappers, which we see often in the house care products. Important topic here is that we have both possibility to handle cappers which are capable of rotating afterwards, or cappers that are triggers that need to be orientated in one certain direction. So both ways are possible. Dispenser cappers as well, same goes here, whereas we have a small video. Those bottles are filled with water, by the way, but this is just a factory test to show the principle of the pump, dispense pump capper. Here again, the same goes for if there's a safety notch inside the cap or not. We have the possibility to handle both on the turn, let's say, or underneath. So even there's not a single issue in handling both ways. And then we're coming to the block solutions, which I mentioned in the beginning as well. We have both 3-block or a synchro block solution, whereas in a 3-block, we're speaking about the combination of a blow molder, a filler, and a labeler, all in one machine, which gives the big advantage, first of all, in terms of floor saving. Secondly, there's no more conveyor anymore in between the different machines. And when we're doing a format changeover, we're having less formed parts, which gives it a big advantage. Last but not least is also the low energy required. Due to the fact that we're not having the conveyors anymore, due to the fact that we're having shorter connections on every section, we're really coming in with a preform on the right, as you can see here, and we're coming out with a labeled, with a filled, capped, labeled bottle in the end, which is really a big advantage in terms of saving. On the other hand, we're having the synchro block as well, whereas a stretch blow molder and a filler are combined to each other, where they are connected to each other. Again, there's a big advantage of having the filler directly connected to the stretch blow molder. Labeling can happen afterwards. There is also the possibility to connect it to the unscrambler instead of a blow molder, But again, it's all depending on the scope of the customer. And then we're going to the extreme machine. The extreme machine, after this presentation, I will show you a small video which explains the advantage of the machine, of this extreme machine. But the point is that we created a machine, we created a concept where we want to fill, cap, label any type of bottle, any type of product, any type of cap without stopping the machine. That's really the idea. So to have a non-stop running solution, and this at the maximum speed of 6,000 bottles an hour. One of the advantages, of course, is no downtime anymore, and the other big advantage is that we're having a reduced floor space. Again, we're coming close with the video at the end of the presentation, and then I'll go into detail how it looks like. Some important features about this is a changeover time, which will be reduced or which even will disappear as we're working with grippers, dedicated grippers through linear B&R motors instead of the classical setup. As well for the cappers, where we're working with different capping heads to handle all types of caps, as you can see here. And where there was a changeover time from 30 to 125 minutes, we're now reducing it to 5 minutes or even 0 if we're staying in the same range of rotating caps. And then when we're going with the double cap elevator lift system in order to run non-stop without changing the caps, without changing, without having the need to run dry, let's say, and then a cap elevator. The filling, so the products, we're having all those 14 filling valves on the line, which are handled tankless, deviated in 2, so 7 on the left, 7 on the right. The first 7 can fill, while the other 7 go in automatically sip mode. Once a new product is ready, the new bottles come in, and the first 7 ones are ready to clean until the new product is launched. So the idea is really to run a CIP or to run a filling process independently or simultaneously, depending whether you want to change between a product or not. Then we're going to the labeling, quite common and quite known technology. Whether we do the self-adhesive labeling on top, on the side, or in a rotating way, everything is really possible here as well. Again, which speeds up until 20,000 bottles an hour. After that, we're going through our mother company, Krones, which are capable of handling labels to much higher speed. Important here is to understand that we're having the non-stop solutions, the orientation, the quality controls, and the easy accessible machines always as a key as a baseline, let's say, of our machine designs. I'm going a little bit faster here as we're running a little bit behind of time. Again, we're having the depalletizers and the palletizers as well, both with robot palletizing, whether it's needed or not. Everything is dependent on the speed, the floor space we have available, and the type of packs we need to palletize or depalletize. And then we're going to the engineering and the line competence. As I mentioned you guys before, we're doing the single machines or the complete lines. As you can see here, an example where we're having synchro block with the filling and the capping and the labeling in one block design for a pretty small bottle, which was quite challenging, as you can see here. We could do the bigger lines as well for the bigger blocks when we're speaking about 5 liters, 6.2 liter bowls, complete lines where we have the blowing, filling, labeling. This was a project in the United States. Another recent project we did in Reckitt Benckiser in China, where we had lines for laundry sanitizer, hand washer, so both weight fill, volume fill, 8,000 bottles an hour, 4,000 bottles an hour, as you can see here. Again, for Ineos in the UK, a line speed of 15,000 bottles an hour, where we worked with labeler connected to filler cappers, completely ATEX, so the explosion-proof solution was for a hand sanitizer, COVID, if it rings a bell. And then we have the Dipta group where we connected a scrambler with the, where we connected the blow molder with a filler and a labeler all in one machine, 18,000 bottles an hour for small bottles, cosmetics. And then we have another one with a linear labeler Another product in Italy where we had a 3-block blowing, labeling, unscrambling, labeling, and filling. Another one for Conter as well in Italy, and then another one in Mexico, which was a 3-block as well with unscrambler as well for those big jars of wax. Again, the competences in bullet points. So the blow molding of shaped containers is a possibility, is known for us, and is one of our strong points. Same goes for corrosive products, aggressive products, whatsoever. Handling all different types of caps and the compact solutions, complete lines or single line machines. Everything is possible from the Kosme portfolio, as I've shown you before. We're having the Q&A right now. I think we're having the Q&A right now, Anna, and then I'll get back to the video of the X3 machine. Is that okay?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sure, absolutely. I was waiting for you to give me the go.
Yeah.
And okay, so due to time reason, we will try to go through as many questions as time allows. Now I'm looking in the chat. Just a second, I see things coming up. And yeah, here we are with the first one. Okay, Devi, starting from which speed does it make more sense to choose rotary labels instead of linear ones?
Mm-hmm. Very good question. There's no exact border, let's say, there's no exact guideline where you can say, okay, starting from this speed, you need to go to rotary or you need to go to inline linear labeling. There is like an invisible rule that says that everything above 6,000 bottles an hour is highly recommended to go for rotary labeling, because you always need to keep in mind with linear labeling, you don't have control of your bottle. Your bottle is standing alone on a belt and your labels are getting applied on a bottle which is standing loose. On a rotary labeling, on the contrary, you have your bottle always controlled. So you have a perfect position for the perfect application of the label. Another big difference, which makes a big difference, is with linear labeling, you're really limited in terms of extra features, orientation, certain decoration, certain shapes of bottles. So it's more a matter of the quality output you need and what you want to do with your bottle and with your design, let's say.
Okay, I see other question coming, but just a second, it's half an hour. We will still, if you agree, another couple of minutes, because I saw many interesting things coming up. We will try to be quick, but to at least start answering to something. So the second one, can a weight filler treat foamy products?
Yeah. As I mentioned in the slide before, so a weight fill filler is capable of handling foamy products due to the fact that the tank can be put under a certain pressure in order to push the product gently through to avoid the foamy reaction when landing in the bottle. So it is possible, yes.
Okay. Then I see now that we have another important one. Is it a big transformation for a customer to introduce in-house blow molders to produce independently the containers?
That's a very interesting question. In-house blow molding, it's without a doubt that it makes sense, especially from a consumption point of view, especially when we're talking about a green planet and so on. But keep in mind that blow molding is different. It's really unique technology on its own compared with filling, labeling, packing, and so on and so on. So it makes sense to contact a consultant or to gather some information left or right through us, through Kosme, through Krones. We're here to help, but really keep in mind that it's a next step for the company, and it takes a lot of engineering as well and a lot of know-how to go this extra mile of blow molding. But once you're there, it only makes sense. That's without a doubt.
Okay, so due to the time reason, we will go through that is the last but not least. When will be the first X3 Continua installed at customer site?
Interesting. We're planning, if everything goes well, we should be next year, summer next year, so this period, July, the first machine should be running, labeling, filling, capping, packing bottles in Europe. So that's another 52 weeks of waiting, so to say, next summer.
Okay, so don't worry. We are sorry we couldn't answer to all the questions during this webinar, but as mentioned at the beginning, we will make sure you receive the appropriate answer via email later on. Thank you again for attending and for your participation and from all your interesting question. We hope you have enjoyed the webinar, and if you have any further question or specific request, don't hesitate to contact us directly at sales@kosme.it. And thank you very much and have a great day and summer.
Thanks, Anna, for the kind words. To everyone, I want to highlight, if you go to YouTube and you push in, you type the X3M, so Extreme Kosme, you will find a video on the Kosme platform in YouTube where you can see a complete simulation of the X3 machine, which was, by the way, shown during the last Interpack in Düsseldorf a couple of months ago. And this is showing exactly what the machine is capable of doing. I leave this one out as an outro.
Thank you.